Welcome back. I'm Robert Newman. I'll be your host for today's episode of the InboundREM YouTube Whiteboard Update. Today's subject is for Follow Up Boss users, and unfortunately, it got pushed in front of many other really cool things that we're going to share with you because there's something you need to know. On October 15th, Zillow updated its TOCs, and I did see that, but like many of you, I'm sure I didn't read the update. Oopsie, my bad. If you haven't read the update, it's critical that you watch the rest of this video, okay? Or go read the TOCs. All right, so without any further ado, why is this so critical? Zillow is absolutely 100%, in my opinion, doing a data grab for your data, okay? And they've worded it very cleverly, so I want to explain what they've said. And number two, the reason that this update had to preempt everything is that these changes take effect on November 15th. So if you're actively a Follow Up Boss customer, this is something you're going to want to know before the 15th, because Zillow just said that they are going to share that data, all the data that you have in your customer account, with Zillow Pro members. Now, they preface this by saying, hey, we will share that data, but only if it's a shared customer. Well, that's very clever manipulation. I haven't looked up the exact statistic, but the last time that I looked at Zillow statistics, something like 80% of the people that bought a home in the United States were using Zillow searches in order to do it. Now, what percentage of those people registers as a profile, which is exactly what Zillow is talking about? Something like 60 to 80% of that number. So in essence, it's reasonably safe to assume that 60 to 70% of all people searching for homes probably have a Zillow account, which means that it's safe to assume that 60 to 70% of the people that you have in your follow-up database are Zillow customers. That means they've just informed you that they have the right to take your data. Now, in that language in the agreement, it literally pointed to an enriched experience for Zillow Pro. So it infers heavily that a data-enriched experience, there was some language in there, I don't remember specifically, but it was literally, it pointed to, we're gonna get a richer set of data from your account and we're gonna provide it to people on Zillow Pro. Now, really put simply, that just means that they've opened the gateway to giving the data out of Follow Up Boss to people that are actively using Zillow advertising campaigns, whatever they decide to call that plan. That effectively means they can take your data and hand it off to a competitor, okay? So that's why I had to preempt everything that we're doing, everything, because this affects, probably deeply affects 80 to 90% of Follow Up Boss customers. So the key terms and pricing policy changes, privacy policy changes. So that's basically what I just explained. It takes effect on November 15th. Here's what my recommendation is. If you care about the idea that your data will be used to have other people compete against you, now this becomes a race to cancel your account. My recommendation number one is you may or may not have enough time. By the time you see this video, we're going to try to get it uploaded today or tomorrow, but you may not see it in time and you may not be able to act on it. So what I'm going to suggest to all of you is to say, call them and say that you don't agree to the new terms and conditions and what are your options. I suggest you do that right away, okay? Immediately. Failing that, cancel your account. Do it before the 15th if you care, if this is important to you, if you don't want to compete for any of your data, whether I have the numbers right or wrong, it doesn't matter. What if I was to say they'll have access to 20% of your data and you'll be competing for 20% of your database against another salesperson where the information was collected directly from your Follow Up Boss account, your CRM, which theoretically, I mean, at least when Follow Up Boss used to own it, was yours. But of course, if you've been following me for a while, I have many times said in many different places that the war that goes on today with big businesses is information-based. And so when somebody spends $500 million to get your information, you can be pretty sure they're going to use it at some point, and they did. I thought they might use it for large language model training or something that was a little more innocuous. I did not think they would just simply tell you, oh, by the way, we're going to take the database out of your CRM. Hope you don't mind. So the second recommendation. There's a number of good services. I would go, none of these are perfect, not even close. But you might check out Brevity. It's owned by Ben Kinney. At least you know that unless he decides to sell it, it's probably going to be safe. Realty Juggler has good reviews. I haven't looked at it, so I don't know that much about it. Just know that it's a well-reviewed CRM option. For those of you who have a little time and energy, HubSpot is a tremendously good option. Probably the only one where you could theoretically build it out to be as compelling as Follow Up Boss. Normally, we wouldn't even bother with that recommendation because it's too time intensive, there's too much customization, and it's not necessarily the easiest of the roads. Those are the three things that come to my mind, but ladies and gentlemen, I haven't had very much time. This got brought to my attention by somebody reaching out to me for a solution today, and we just canceled our full slate of videos so that we could shoot this one, process it, get it over to editing, get them to edit it, and try to get it out all super fast. So I don't have much to add. What I will say this, for those of you who think that this is a major concern, by the time you watch this video, I'll probably know a lot more and have a more definitive recommendation. There'll be a link to my calendar in the description of the video. We at InboundREM make websites and we do SEO, but we also partner with CRMs, and Follow Up Boss has been our recommendation for a while. So I have to find another recommendation. This is a high priority issue, or like a resolution requirement for me. So by the time you talk to me, I might have something pointed out for all of you, okay? So with no further ado, I've been Robert Newman. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Until next time.